Hey, y'all. This is your girl, Erica, from the Dope Discussions with Erica podcast. Before we get into today's show, I just want to ask you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell so you can meet us back here every Sunday at 6:30 Central Standard Time, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time for all of our dope discussions. You don't want to miss them, do you? So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell so you can meet us here and maybe even beat us here.
Dope Discussions podcast. Dope Discussions, Gator, Erica, woke discussions. Mob ties, how they rock and think they both was cousins. Gifting you with their words so you might know you something. Just go and look for them live, they do it every Sunday. Every Sunday.
And we gon' bring you that dope. And we gon' bring you that dope. It's Gator beat it, baby. Make state to state, baby, coast to coast. Like the vibe, baby, spark the jokes. And we gon' bring you that dope. Come talk with Erica, man, talk with G. And all you gotta do is talk with me. And we gon' give you that dope. And we gon' bring you that dope. And we gon' give you that dope. And we gon' bring you that dope.
Hey.
What up, everybody out there, podcast land? Welcome to the virtual congregation. How y'all doing?
Yes, welcome back to another Sunday edition of Dope Discussions with Erica and Gator.
It is me. It is your boy G. Oh man, as y'all see, I'm still representing my black and gold today.
Who that?
Little slip and fall today, but it's all right. It's all
Hey,
right. It's a long season. Tashura, what's going
in the
on?
house. We got Derek from Relationship Gumbo. Hey,
Derek,
Derek.
what's going on?
Thank
This looks a lot better. This looks like a lot better. I was telling Erica backstage, I was trying to hide my Forrest Whitaker eye today. When I get tired, it'd be like that eye just won't open quite up the way it's supposed to. So yeah, it's good though. It's good now.
Yes. We are happy to be back in the house. I know my setting and what my situation looks like is different than normal. I am out here parking lot pimping.
Yeah. Parking lot pimping.
We still gonna do this thing. We are not going to let Charter Communications stop the show.
Right. So don't be surprised if you hear knock on the door. Say girl, what's your name?
I picked a nice vacant parking lot. This is actually the parking lot of the bank that I used to work at for 8 years. So I'm
Oh
pretty
yeah.
I'm pretty clear.
Right. But just in case, we know where you're at. You done gave your location.
Yeah, Derek said I'm parking lot pimping. Show wheels. Tashira said I was gonna say Gator do look sleep.
Hey, my eyes always closed. I told him my great grandfather must have been of some sort of Asian persuasion because my eyes are always slanted and closed. So man, but yeah, it's I was trying to keep them open. There we go.
Yeah.
We
When
do
we
it
go
like
back
that
in that family tree, we gonna find all kinds of Asian persuasion and
for real.
Greek and German, anything in your background.
For real, you ain't no telling. Ain't no telling what's gonna be in there.
Yes. Well, I am happy to get into today's topic. I've been thinking about this all week. I've been gearing up. I wrote down some questions that we're going to touch on. We're going to dig into the past. We're going to talk about our childhood. What was our childhood like? What was our upbringing? What impacted us? What shaped
Mhm.
us into the people that we are today?
Right. And it's funny we was talking about digging in the past and digging in the backgrounds and stuff because that's exactly what we're doing today. We actually
Mhm.
are going to try to kind of probe into it. What makes Gator Gator? What makes Erica Erica? What kind of life experiences have crafted us and molded us? And what life experiences that we had actually made us better and wiser?
Yes. Hey, Quincy, Q in the house. Yeah, I've
You
always found it interesting to um talk to people about how they were raised, their background, where they came from, what was their experience growing up, because it tells you a lot about who they are at the moment and how they became who they are. Because a lot of
right.
times when we meet people, we just see who they are in front of us at the moment, but we don't understand how they arrived there. And so it's easy for us to judge and from our own lens and own experience and put our own perspective on who somebody is without actually finding out what their true story is, their background.
Yeah, because sometimes, we fuss at people about the way they are, but sometimes they just don't know no better. That's what you never know what type of home someone came from. Never know what type of brokenness someone came from in their home and they're trying to overcome, or how strict the home they came from, or how relaxed the home they came from. So yeah, I mean that does affect how people react in different or act in certain situations.
Yes. Welcome,
Why
Miss
everybody
T.
say I'm sleepy looking tonight? I'm looking all sleepy.
Welcome, Miss T. Yeah, because you don't have to actually agree with who a person is, but you can understand how they became that way.
That's very true. That is very, very true. And all that really comes down to is, and I think we touched on this last week, being compassionate and being
Hmm.
able to, just tune out your initial thoughts and try to put yourself in that other person's shoes. Try to see
Yeah.
where they're coming from. And sometimes you won't know where they're coming from if you judge it based on your own life experiences. Sometimes you need to kind of know a little bit of their background to see why they act the way they do. And then you can communicate different thoughts and ideas better to them. And some of those ideas help them get along. Hey, you might learn a little bit about yourself by doing it too.
Right. So let's get into it. We're going to start out with between the ages of 1 and 5 years old. Who were you, George Livis, between the
Hmm.
ages of 1 and 5?
Between the ages of 1 and 5, I don't remember much from
Mm-hmm.
back when I was 1 years old. However, 2 years old, the memories start flooding back.
Yeah.
No, actually, between 1 and 5, I was quiet. I was a real quiet child. As a matter of fact, I think I was quiet all throughout high school, for the
Mm-hmm.
most part. There was a specific moment that all that changed, but I was very intuitive. I was
Mm-hmm.
always, curious about different things and always wanting to learn stuff. And I was always a little goofy, little something. But that's because my mama dropped me on my head. So, it kind of jostled some stuff around. And she actually did. Actually, I got dropped on my head multiple times when I was a little baby. Because when I wasn't even 1 year old yet. My mom was rocking me in the rocking chair, and she say, she fell asleep, and she heard boom, and she said she opened her eyes, and I was sitting there laughing like, ha 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 ha. She's like, oh Lord, what I did to my child. And then my aunt Teresa, she was driving. She had one of the big long Cadillacs. This was back when I was like 2 years old. And she was driving the Cadillac trying to get somewhere, and she had to slam on the brake, and she had me in the back seat. And she said, I rolled all the way from the back seat, wow, jumped into the front seat and rolled on the ground. And I was laughing then too. She's like, I know he hit his head. I don't know what's going on, but yeah.
Oh, you was crazy, right up top. It's like, this baby didn't even cry. This baby crazy.
Right. Just say they probably came the same voice.
Yeah, that's what made me laugh. Derek said he probably came out with the same voice.
Pretty much.
Between the ages of 1 and 5, much like you, I was very quiet. I was my mama's only child until 4 years old. She had my brother when I was 4. But up until then, I was very quiet. My mom said she used to sit me down to go do housework and chores, and she wouldn't hear a peep out of me. And that's really weird because my oldest son was the exact same way. When I had him, I would sit him in front of the TV on the sofa, and I would go and do everything I needed to do. And he would not move from that spot. He would not make no noise. If I told him don't move, he was not gonna move. And I was the exact same way. Yeah,
like they said, that's a good baby.
he tricked me into having another one, and then
it's like, oh, this wasn't so bad. Let me try this again.
Exactly. That second one was like, hey, gotcha.
Look, that's kind of how that's exactly what my mom said. My mom said it was so easy with me. I ain't cry. I ain't do. Let me have another one and see what happens. My brother, complete opposite.
So sure said I was plotting as a baby. I guess I've just always been really quiet and introverted, even as a child. And the thing about quiet and introverted people is that we have loud brains.
Yeah,
there's so much going inside here. That's why we don't talk so much, because we got all this going on up in here, and a lot of times we don't verbalize what's going on inside our head, because we're like, y'all probably gonna think I'm crazy, all the stuff I be thinking.
Right. Exactly.
Thank you, Ursula. Thank you,
Ursula, in the building.
Yes. So I do remember it was a big deal. My mom used to brag about, I think maybe I was almost 2 or maybe 2, and I was reciting the alphabet from beginning to end. I knew all my ABCs. And I guess that was a big deal at that time, because I had a real good memory. I could hear something 1 or 2 times and then repeat it word for word.
Yeah, so you was already just soaking up soaking up knowledge at the time.
And you know how parents, when they take you different places, they want you to do it and they want you to perform in front of everybody.
Yeah. Say ABC, baby.
Say ABC. I'm like, A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Look, you get tired of saying, you know, I'm tired of this song.
I don't want to do it today. I don't want to say it no more.
I want to say the songs I want to sing.
Yes. So between the ages of 1 and 5, I have some memories. I remember
my dad vaguely, because him and my mom separated. I think I was around 3 or 4, because when she had my brother, my dad is not my brother's dad.
Mm.
So when she had my brother, her and my dad briefly got back together because in his twisted way of thinking, he didn't want nobody to know that his wife had had a child with somebody else. So he wanted to come back.
Mm.
And I really believe he wanted a son.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't really that interested in having a daughter, but he wanted a son, even if it wasn't he.
Right, right. Right. He like, look, I gotta get the boy. I gotta, it's something different when a man has a son. Which, by the way, quick segue. Shout out to my Down 5 partner, Ralston McGee, on the birthday of his son
Oh, he
on
had his son.
Friday. Dominic
Okay,
Nestor is in the
go
world,
ahead.
was born on Friday. So congratulations, DJ man. I am happy for you. You should see the picture of him posing like, yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations. So I have I have a photo to show
Uh-oh.
y'all. Don't y'all go to acting crazy.
Uh-oh. Let's see. Let's see what baby Erica. Look at that. Look at her. Look at them
This,
earrings, stunning. Them hoops, the baby hoops.
this was me at 3 years old riding my tricycle. My mama said I love that tricycle. And this is such a haunting picture for me because that's my dad in the back. You can barely see him. You can see his jeans,
Yeah, I
and
can't. Yeah.
you can see that's the top of his body. He didn't have a shirt on.
Oh, I can't.
And
Okay, got it.
that picture is really symbolic of the way he was in my life. He was a shadow
Mm.
way in the background. I never had a relationship with him. I just remember a few vague memories of him as a little girl, but from the time that they separated, um, very few and far between times when I actually saw him in person. And it was times when I reached out to, to communicate with him. It was never anything where, he came to get me, or he reached out to me to spend time with me. I have a very um one memory that stands out with me. I think maybe I was 10 years old, and he called my mom and said he was coming to pick me up to take me
Mm.
shopping. And I waited and I waited and I waited and I waited all day long, and he didn't ever show up.
Mm.
And I think that happened a couple of times until I just said, no more.
Right, right, right.
We're not going to do that again.
Right, right. That always sucks to be on the side of on the waiting side of that. I know I had that many times as well as I was a little boy, you know, uh, waiting on my dad to come pick us up, and me and my brother, and he'll never come. We'll be sitting there looking crazy, like, man, he ain't come. I know. And after a while, my brother was just like, you know what, screw that. So he was telling people, yeah, my dad. Well, it was two stories. The first one was the reason my dad wasn't around was because my dad was the junkyard dog from the WWF, and
Mhm.
he was out on the road and stuff. Because my dad does favor the junkyard dog, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And then and then what was the other one? Okay, as my brother got older, he was like, yeah, my daddy, he played for the Saints, but he ended up getting cut, so now he out there in the World League, you know,
Yeah.
just not wanting to like come to grips with the fact that my dad's not around like he was, like we wanted him to be, you know?
Yeah. They said they couldn't see him in the photo. Don't worry about it, y'all. I couldn't see him in real life.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord. You
And
gotta look real hard. He there. You could definitely see him.
yeah, yeah. But it is funny how that was one of the pictures that I hung on to because it's really symbolic of our relationship. But I never really knew how much his absence impacted my whole life until looking back on it
Right.
and realizing that that was something that I longed for so many years, and it was an absence that I tried to fill with a whole lot of other stuff, people. I had my mom's oldest brother. He was my favorite uncle, Uncle Henry. I still love my Uncle Henry. He was my favorite uncle when I was a kid growing up, and I kind of looked up to him as that stand-in father figure.
Yeah.
I used to spend a lot of time at their house because his daughter, she was close in my age. She was maybe like 2 years older than me, and we were close. So I spent a lot of time at their house. And every weekend, they used to rent movies, and I would go to their house and sit and watch movies with them. And then my cousin would walk me halfway home. That was some of my fondest memories as a child, watching movies on the weekend at my Uncle Henry house.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you need that. I mean, I was fortunate enough when I was a little boy to have my Uncle Danny and my Uncle June there. She said my eyes closed. You know what? Ain't that bad. That's because of the light shining at me. So it's kind of like, oh, so I'm kind of squinting a little bit, like, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I had my Uncle Donnie, my Uncle June,
Mhm.
who was pretty good. My uncle, they was pretty good influences.
Mhm.
Good for better or for worse at times. but
Yeah.
they were there, and then I had, my grandmother kind of played that steadying role too at the time because we stayed with her and yeah, she ain't play. So
So as a child, what did you want to be? When people used to ask you, what did you want to be when you grow up? What was that?
I like my mom. That's when people ask me that question, I tell them all the time, like, when you're little, a lot of times, people ask you what you want to be. I want to be a fireman. I want to be a doctor. I want to be this and this. All I could think about it, but I was really young, is I just want to be like my mom because she was this person who had this like warming spirit where
Mhm.
everybody could talk to her. Like when she
Mhm.
walked in a room, everybody kind of lit up, and
Mhm.
it wasn't that she was loud or boisterous or anything like that. She was just, it was like when she walked in the room, that was the everybody mama. That was
Mhm.
everybody's, best friend that they could talk to. And people would come and talk to her about all kinds of crazy stuff. And it would always stay with her.
Wow.
you know, she was everybody's counselor. She was everybody's, guardian angel, even, before she passed. And, it was so weird I was at her funeral and I heard all these people talking about her. And I was like, that's exactly why I wanted to be like her, you know?
Wow.
Um, but yeah, that's whenever somebody asked me that question, I was like, that's the first thing I think about. I did want to be an astronaut for a little while, but then they pulled that TV in the room so we could watch the Challenger and the first teacher in space, and then the Challenger blew up, and I said, nah, I don't think I want to do that no more.
I wanted to be I wanted to be I don't remember the term what you call it, but I wanted to study dinosaurs. When I was a
Oh,
kid, I guess is it a paleontologist?
a paleontologist, yeah, a paleontologist or archaeologist, depending on what field, yeah.
I was fascinated with dinosaurs, all of those ancient animals that became
Mm,
extinct. That was one of my favorite subjects in school was um history,
Yeah.
science, learning about that type of stuff. Um I remember as a kid, we went on a field trip to this dinosaur exhibit where they had the big dinosaur bones.
Yeah.
Man,
I
I
remember
was in
those was
awe.
fascinating.
Yeah, I was in awe of that. And even now as an adult, I took my boys about 3 years ago. They had the dinosaur, it wasn't real dinosaurs, but it was those animatronic dinosaurs
Yeah.
in New Orleans. I
I
took my
remember that
children to
show.
that, and we took a bunch of photos of that. I still love to look at dinosaurs. I love Jurassic Park movies.
Oh yeah.
So as a
See.
kid, that's what I wanted to be.
Oh yeah. Anything like stuff like that I was really into. Anything nerdy, quote unquote,
Mhm,
as they used to call nerdy, I would be into, because like I think when I was because they used to my family used to make fun of me all the time because I was a bit of an introvert, but every
mhm.
once in a while I'll start talking. And they'd be like, "Oh Lord, what is he talking about?" Because like when I was 9, that school summer, my grandmother used to always tell us like, "Oh, if you want to know what a word means, just look it up in the encyclopedia." So we had 2 sets of encyclopedias at the house. My grandmother used to work at a Struma High School. Shout out to them
Mhm,
engines, Dirty Eye down there, and she would bring home at the end of the semester, at the end of the school year, they would replace the encyclopedias. So she would
mhm.
bring home sets of encyclopedias.
Yeah,
And if they was thrown away, so she had like 2 sets, Encyclopedia Britannica and the World Book. And she
yeah,
like, look, you want to look it up? I mean, you want to find out about it, look it up. So one day I sat there and looked up something, and I said, "Oh, that seemed like an interesting word. Oh, that seemed like an interesting word." And next thing you know, I went through the whole D encyclopedia. So I said, "Huh." And I just started reading F, G, H, I, J. So I read through that whole encyclopedia set. And then I
yeah.
went back and read through the whole Encyclopedia Britannica set that summer. So
Mhm.
my family would make fun of me because they was like, "Oh, I don't even want to talk to him because he gonna start telling me about something he's seen in this book." I go out to the playground and all the kids running around playing, and I'm sitting up there. That's a stratocumulus right there. That's a cumulus cloud. Do you know that cumulus clouds are produced within it? And my cousin would be like, "Hey, your son being weird."
I had that similar thing though, like in school. In school, grades, like school came easy to me, and I guess it's
Mhm.
because I had a good memory.
Yeah.
Like I could read up on the notes the night before the test and go and pass it. But there became a time in age in my life where I wanted to be one of the cool kids. And
Mm.
I didn't want to be picked on for being a nerd and for
Yeah.
you think you better than everybody, you think you so smart. And so I used to start to mess up my grades on purpose just to
mm.
be accepted.
Be like, you know what? I kind of did that. Like, I just stopped doing homework at some point in
Mhm,
school, and I had a teacher pull me to the side. It's like, okay, so you make straight A's on all your tests, but then
mhm.
you don't do your homework, so we got to give you these F's and everything on that. What is going on with you? I don't
Right.
know. I'm just cooling, you know.
So how was school for you? Did you enjoy school? Did you have friends? Were you outgoing? Were you introverted?
So
How was school?
so in middle school, I was, kind of outgoing. So middle school, it was like I went to a gifted and talented school, so it was like Saved by the Bell. It really
Mhm,
was like Saved by the Bell. I went to school with mostly white people, and it was cool. And I'm glad I did in a way because it gave me a different perspective because I grew up in the hood. So it's
mhm,
like, the way things were at Bayside is not the way things was in the hood.
Right.
So, but I was really outgoing, there at school and in the neighborhood, it was a little bit different. I had my friends, but it wasn't no big thing. High school was a little different at first because it was similar that first
Mm-hmm.
year. And then I left the high school, the magnet, the gifted and talented high school. I went to Struma High, that dirty eye, where I literally went from Bayside High School to like Oz, the penitentiary. Like I got off the bus and they had barbed wire on the top of the fences, and I was like, oh Lord, what is going on? I ain't never seen a school like this. People shooting dice against the wall. I said, oh no, I'm
Oh,
in
that sounds
dangerous
like something on the
minds.
movie.
Right. Like I'm in dangerous minds. What is going on? But I'm glad that I kind of had that experience. Now I didn't talk a lot in
Yeah.
school. My mom always told me that I didn't say anything when I was a child. I didn't say nothing until my senior year of high school. And then when I started talking, they couldn't shut me up because I literally was just talking about everything. I don't know exactly what happened, but that senior year, I came out of my shell,
Mm-hmm.
and it was hell on everybody because I because I was just a talking, I was introverted, but I was also very much opinionated. I was active in all of the stuff at school. I just, and I was cool with everybody, which was weird because I was into, music. I was in the choir and I was in the jazz band, and, I was the smart kid, but I also, because I was from the hood, I also was real cool with a lot of dudes from the hood. So I was able to go back and forth between all of these different circles,
Mm-hmm.
of people. So everybody knew me, and it kind of made me, a little bit more popular,
Mm-hmm.
and then people back then used to like the fact that I was, doing music stuff, and I was singing, and I was, doing stuff for student council. So I was everywhere in high
Yeah.
school.
Well, for me, in school, we were very country. I grew up in a very rural country farm town. Where I lived, on the street that I lived on, everybody on that street was kin to each other, family.
Mm.
My mom, my grandmother and my grandfather bought acres of land, and they gave all of their kids a certain number of acres of land. So that whole street was my mom, my uncle, my other uncle, cousins. So it was all family on that street,
So
and it was
everybody knew
very.
everybody.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. If you got in trouble at one house, you was gonna get a whooping
Mm.
there, and then you was gonna get another whooping when you get home. Your uncle was gonna call your mom and tell your mama what you was doing at their house, and you
Ooh.
was gonna get another whooping. And my uncles, they raised hogs,
Oh Lord.
cows, horses, chickens. My uncle, one of my uncles, he had a hog that was so big it kept breaking out of the pen, and
Oh, wow.
it would get in our yard, and we'd be like, Uncle Sugarman, come get your pig, because we not going outside until he leave, because he was that huge.
Mm. And
We've
pigs
watched
are
them.
aggressive. They'll bite you.
Oh yeah, we've watched them kill hogs, gut the hogs, clean them, make the hog head cheese, the chitlins. We've watched all of that growing up. So we was really country. So our school was country as well. We wasn't in no big city or nothing like that.
Yeah.
And it was a very prejudiced and racist
Mm.
small town. And so a lot of the black boys would sneak around with white girls.
Mm.
But if they got caught,
It was their ass, yeah.
they behind. So yeah, we was really country. Um, so here's another. Y'all don't laugh at my Jerry curl.
What you say? Don't laugh at the Jerry curl. We're not gonna laugh at the Jerry curl.
Y'all, I hated that Jerry curl because it turned my hair like a reddish orange color. And so in the sunlight, my hair would like really be red. And they used to call me Robin Redbreast.
Oh Lord.
So that's me and my mom and my little brother. And I
Oh.
had got the Jerry curl. I hated that Jerry curl. Yeah, look at me, Miss T. That was my Jerry curl days.
And you can barely tell it's a Jerry curl, but now you on the further examination, I can see.
No, the chemicals in the Jerry curl whatever they call it, the chemicals is what
The
turned my
chemicals,
hair that color.
the chemicals in the soul glow.
Yes.
It's that was that moisturizing formulation.
and
Soul
and
glow.
and I'm looking at this photo like, mother, where were your eyebrows? You know, back in the day,
What you
they
say?
used
Well,
to shave
eyebrows.
they used to
Yeah,
shave their eyebrows off, or they used to make them really thin, and that was
yeah,
in back then.
yeah. I see. Chill say now we see who you look like. Yeah, y'all do favor hard.
Yeah, that neutralizer, yes. Turn your hair colors. Yeah, so in school, like from like elementary, junior high, I was really quiet, shy to myself, not really outgoing. Um, I hated the way I looked. I used to look in
Mm,
the mirror and I hated my nose. I wanted a different nose. I felt like my nose was too big for my face. Um, I was very skinny and muscular. So I felt like my arms were so muscular. They looked like boy arms to me and I hated them.
mm,
And so that's in junior high, I started playing basketball. And I fell in love with basketball because it was an escape. It was a way for me to feel like I was somebody in school.
right.
It was a way for me to socialize and make friends because just going to school and going home, if I could play basketball, then I could escape, the boring life I had at home,
Mm,
or being swamped with all those household chores.
right. Because as long as you was at home, since you ain't got nothing else to do, you can come in here
Mhm.
and clean this bathroom. You can go ahead and clean in this kitchen. You can cook. Well, how old you is? Let me teach you how to cook. Yeah, all them.
Mhm. And learn how to cook at the age of 12, and my mama had me cooking full course grown women meals. I think that's why I really don't like cooking to this day, because I've been cooking since I was 12.
Say how to had enough of this.
Yes.
But I mean, that's look, we and my brother learned how to cook from my grandmother, but I didn't because I was always doing stuff. I was always doing something at school or whatever. But
Mhm,
she used to make sure we knew how to clean and wash dishes and like I'm talking about she was a janitor. She used to clean people's houses too. So she had like these strict standards. Like
mhm,
if my brother, he's 3 years younger than me. So if my brother, we had different nights to do the dishes.
mhm.
So, if my brother forgot to do the dishes during, his night, then I would get woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning too. And he got to wash dishes. But because I'm the older brother, I should have caught that. So I got to mop
Right,
floors and everything. So I had to have that extra level of responsibility. Like I
right.
was like, well, look, I forgot to wash the dishes. Why he ain't got to get up? Oh, because he ain't the oldest. So I used to be like, dang. But
sometimes I really hated being the oldest of all of my siblings because I had to take all the responsibility for whatever they didn't do. And I was like, I didn't have these children. These ain't my children.
right. Right. But we used to have to do it because my grandmother used to tell us, like, you gotta make sure y'all know how to cook and clean, and y'all won't get, just in case y'all run up on them little trifling girls who don't know how to do nothing.
So in your childhood, outside of your mother, who was your favorite person?
Ooh,
Who left the biggest impact on your life?
my grandmother.
Your grandmother.
Definitely, because like I said, she raised us a lot. My mom was there. A lot of times my mom would be working 2 jobs and doing all that. My grandmother was the one who really kind of imparted on me that work ethic. I would be sick some mornings, and I have my sinuses would be acting up and I couldn't see, and I'd be watery eyed, and she'd be like, all right, go ahead and get up. I know you're feeling kind of bad. Take 5 minutes, suck it up. Because them people on the job 20 years from now ain't going to care whether or not you sick or not. You still got to go to work, But she was really loving, and she was really compassionate. Just don't get on her bad side. I always say that they based the character of Medea on my grandmother because she used to keep that pearl handle 38 in her purse and on her lap. And if you walked in that house without announcing yourself, you'll catch a hot one. And if you think you wouldn't, it was a good thing she was a good shot, because she shot at me a couple times. Look, I had to matrix them bullets. She was like, nah, I wasn't trying to catch you. If I was trying to hit you, I would have got you.
It was something about them women back in the day. They knew how to shoot a gun. My mama used to know how to shoot. Because my uncles, they would take her, out back when she was young, and they would make them shoot cans off of like standing on a pole and shoot the cans. So all of them knew how to shoot. My mama kept her gun under her mattress. And I was so curious about it. I would go in the room and I would just put my hand on the mattress just to touch it.
Just to touch it, see what it feel like.
But my favorite person from my childhood was also my grandmother. We used to love to go spend the weekends with my grandma when we was out of school. And me and my cousins, we would always try to cook up a scheme on who was going to ask to go by grandma's house. I asked last time, but you're going to ask this time. And how we going to do it is you're going to tell Momo that my mama already said we could come. So we just waiting on her answer.
Y'all are just scheming.
Oh, yeah. Because a lot of times my mama and them would be like, no, y'all ain't going this weekend. Y'all went last weekend. And so we always had to scheme up a way to make sure that everybody said yes, so we could go spend the night with my grandmother. And looking back on it, I don't know why we wanted to go stay with her so much, because she was mean.
It's something about it. See, grandmamas can love you different though, because they can be mean, but they can. It seems like they're unbridled by, I ain't gotta raise you. I just gotta love on you.
But I tell you what, that food, anything my grandma touched was good. It tastes good. And it seemed like she would go in the kitchen and just make a whole dish out of nothing. I was like, she didn't even have nothing in this kitchen. How did she make this? And it used to be so good. And I used to ask her, why you ain't teach my mama how to cook like you?
Right.
Because my mother didn't cook good like that. That's why we used to want to go by Momo's house.
Right. I remember my grandmother, one time all she had was some flour and some oil, and she made us some biscuits and gravy.
Out of
And I was
nothing, they
like,
make something,
God, what?
and it
But it was
tastes
good.
so good.
I
Yes.
was like, golly.
Hmm. Yes, meals and cooking with effortless. Y'all, we we watched Mama. Mama used to raise chickens in her backyard, and we
Mm,
watched her break a chicken neck.
mm.
Just take the chicken by the head
Yeah.
and twirl
Yeah.
it around in the air to break his neck.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple hours later, we was eating chicken.
Right, right. That's how my grandmother was. We ain't have chickens. She used to go get them from a neighbor. One of our neighbors had chickens. And that was like, really? You gonna kill the chicken? Ooh. But they used to my uncles used to go hunting. So they'll bring home rabbit and possum and all
All the
kind of
crazy
stuff.
meat.
And I used to be like,
Hmm.
they'll go get frogs out the canal and we do frog
Turtle.
legs and turtles. Yeah, turtles, all that kind of stuff. I remember one time I had
Hmm.
a pet rabbit named Checkers.
Don't
And
tell me they
I,
ate your
I
pet.
man, look, I came to the house. Oh, I came to the house and they said the dog got out and killed my chicken. I mean
They lied to you.
my rabbit. I say, Lord, no,
They
no, he killed
lied.
Checkers.
You
And
ate
then next thing
checkers.
you know, we had stew. We had stew. And it was good. And my uncle say, my uncle, he being messy. How you like Checkers? I said, what? You're like,
Now, now
he
that
sure
should have
tastes
been
good,
a
don't he?
traumatizing moment in your life.
And I looked down at my bowl and it clicked. Checkers, no!
Baby, black folks back then would eat anything.
For real. They would eat anything came out of that. Look.
Yeah, it was some of that stuff I just wouldn't eat. I did not want no goat. You're not finna give me no possum, no raccoon meat, none of that mess. I ain't eating
Yeah,
it.
they used to eat coon like
Mm-mm.
crazy. See, the only stuff I wouldn't mess with like possum and coon, and I found out that rabbit wasn't that bad, but I still was traumatized whenever
I
I ate it, and
tried
I ain't really
rabbit
eat
before.
squirrel.
There's something about rabbit meat is too dry to me or
Yeah, it
something.
is. It is.
Yeah, it's too
You know.
muscular.
Oh yeah. You know. But shoot, like squirrel. I just like. Ugh,
Mhm.
I don't really want to. But in the South, that's what they do. They'll make a possum gumbo with the quickness. You'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
what this?
Okay, so let's talk about ha- school. Have you ever had a fight in school? Have you ever been bullied in school? Who was the person that you didn't like or couldn't stand in school?
Oh man, Jeremy, man. I remember in cause I never really had beef in school like that. Like I was
Hmm.
cool with everybody. Everybody was cool with me. But in middle school, they had this dude named Jeremy. And he came from affluence, right? He was like, the guy who always had all of the name brand stuff, and he was a light skin, and he had the curly hair and all that kind of stuff, and all the girls were just fawning over him and all that kind of stuff, and they pick on me because hell, my mom worked at Kmart, so we wore mostly blue light specials, to
Hmm.
be honest. And me and my brother used to share pants sometimes. We'd keep them all nice and starched and all that, but hell, that's what it was. So he used to pick on me. This is my 8th grade year. He picked on me and picked on me, and I was like, "Oh, I got something for you." This is when I found out that I knew how to write. So I started leaving these little secret admirer messages to his girlfriend in her locker.
Oh,
And next thing you know, she, met me. She found out it was me. And she had a little thing. She gave me a kiss. We was kissing on the party. They went and told him, and she went and made a big deal about it. He's so sweet. He wrote me the most beautiful stuff, and you don't do nothing. So I just looked at him like, yeah.
uh-oh. That's how you get them. You mess with
Yeah,
me, I take your girl.
that's exactly what I did. You mess with me, I will take your girl. you know?
So I had two people who bullied me in school. The first one was my own cousin.
Mm.
And she was my favorite cousin, but she was a bully. Like, and not just me, she bullied all of our younger cousins. And if you didn't do what she wanted you to do or whatever, then she would make all the other cousins not play with you. And
Mm.
back then that was a death sentence to us. Don't nobody want to play with
Right,
me.
exactly.
Everybody mad at me.
Don't nobody like me.
Yeah. So she bullied me so much. And I remember, because when you're a quiet, reserved person and people don't know what you're thinking, they will make up their own assumption of who you are.
Right,
So a
right,
lot of people thought I was, scared because they would say something to me and I wouldn't say anything back. So
right.
they mistake that for being scared. So then that builds up their courage. I'm gonna keep on picking at her because she ain't gonna do nothing. She ain't gonna say
Mm-hmm.
nothing. So we was walking down the street one day and she kept jumping on my back. And I kept telling her to stop, get off my back. She was like, "What
Uh-oh.
you gonna do? You ain't gonna do
Uh-oh.
nothing."
Oh, look, them fighting words right there.
So she kept jumping on my back. She did it a couple of more times. And that last time,
That's
I
it.
took her over my shoulder and body slammed her.
Whew.
And it was perfect because she landed on top of an ant pile.
Ooh.
Baby, when them ants got through eating her up, I was like, I told you to leave me alone.
You went straight Hulk Hogan on her right quick. Let me tell you something, brother.
Yes.
Shoot,
And
that's
then the second person who bullied me, this was a girl from the neighborhood and never did nothing to her.
mm,
Never did nothing to her, but I guess she felt like because I was quiet, I was stuck up.
right.
So she would pick with me all the time. And I remember this one last time she picked at me. We was in high school by this time. She had picked at me from junior high all the way up through high school, and I never, did nothing to her. That last time, I forgot what she did to me. I blacked out
Yep, that's it.
and I grabbed her, and we was in the front of the high school, and the high school had this fence around it, and on the top of the fence was these spikes.
Mm.
And I had grabbed this girl, picked her up off her feet, and I was taking her over there to that fence.
Oh, so she was about to get it. It was about to be
She was about to get them spikes in that
it
fence.
was about to be some odd stuff going on.
And I'll never forget this guy that played on the basketball team. He was one of my friends. His name was Ladaro. Ladaro came and grabbed me and he said, "Erica, you can't do that."
Right.
I said, "I'm sick of her. I'm sick
Shoot.
of her. She been effing with me and I don't never do nothing
Right.
to her.
See.
I ain't never did nothing to her. I'm sick of her."
Shoot. Look. That's what I be trying to tell people. Y'all mess with people that be quiet like that. Cause I was like that. But they just don't understand that you be done transformed into Megatron so quick and they won't know what happened. They'll be like, where this came from? It's too late now.
I've always told people, anytime you ever heard of me fighting, it was the last resort
Hmm.
because I avoid those situations at all costs. But when
Right.
people keep pushing and pushing, pushing, I know eventually they just not gonna stop.
Exactly. Sometimes but sometimes you got to do it. Sometimes you just
Hmm.
because they go push you and push you till they can't push you.
Hmm. Yeah, and it used to hurt my feelings so bad because when people would say I was stuck up or I thought I was better than other people, it's like I am not stuck up. I don't know you. And
Right.
when I don't know people, I don't talk.
Right. Look, that's sometimes the best way to be. Just be quiet and observant, and just see
Hmm.
what's going on.
I always let people put their cards on the table first, figure
Mm-hmm.
out who they are before I open up.
Right. Right.
And it's always worked out good
But
for
you
me.
should say that's when they call you crazy. Then when you be done had too much and be done about to throw somebody over the fence somewhere.
Hmm. But that taught me, though, it taught me to not hold on to stuff.
mm.
Not
Yeah.
hold on to stuff, because when you finally do let it out, you
It's
let so much out that you can't
right.
control it. You can't contain it.
Right.
So you have to get to a point where when something bothers you in that moment, you address it then and there, and then let it go so it doesn't build up on you and you end up doing something you regret.
Right, right. I know my mom used to say that to me all the time. Like, if you're mad, just be mad. Cause I used to be so nice, and like I said, I ain't say nothing. I used to be so sweet. And she was like, Lord, when that boy let go, he gonna hurt somebody. And
Hmm.
sure enough, when I did, it was like, oh, well, wait a minute. We might not want to do this no more to him. This is a
Hmm.
problem.
And do you know that girl is now married to my cousin?
Oh wow. So
She probably don't even remember that, but
oh
I
Lord.
don't. I never
No, no,
forgot
no, no. She remember.
that.
She remember. I bet she was
Turn
the
him loose.
perfect. She the perfect wife for your cousin
Right.
because she know what's gonna happen if she not.
It's crazy how we did stuff like that as kids and end up, and you never know how you're gonna turn out or who you're gonna turn out to be when you become an adult.
Hmm. All that stuff will form on you. You be like, oh Lord, if you think back to it, like, was that me? Did I do that? Yeah.
They say that help her remember.
Yeah, that's what I say. She remember. She
Y'all,
definitely remember.
I got another photo. This was me
Oh,
in junior high basketball.
oh,
Look
look at
how
she got.
look how skinny and muscular I was.
Oh Lord, she got the. Is that the? You got the stacks going on right there.
That them was some struggling stacks.
Oh, you said the struggle stacks.
I was making my own hairstyle.
You got them ooh baby babies.
Yes. And that was our coach, Mr. Tim. I used to love Mr. Tim. He was our junior high coach. Then when I went to high school, my high school coach was Mr. Ricky. I love both of my basketball coaches. They were real cool.
Look at that. Let's
Yes.
see.
Yes. I
Man.
was skinny and muscular.
Yeah. See, in a way, I'm kind of glad I ain't got no pictures because we lost a lot of our pictures in the floods in Baton Rouge a couple years ago, and like literally all our family pictures were lost. And look, I had some pictures where I was looking like a straight up Q-tip back then. You know what I'm saying? Because I got this one picture that I took at cotillion in ninth grade, and I had that high top fade.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was super high, and I was in my suit looking like, yeah, looking like I was supposed to be on the cover of a guy album.
Yes.
you know?
So, who was your first girlfriend and who was the first person to break your heart?
Mm. Who was my first girlfriend? Man, so we say it was a Kiba pen. That was
Mhm.
back in kindergarten. This is where I get my chivalry
Kindergarten.
from, right? Look, I was pimping back then. So like what happened was, I had just broke off with Tasha.
In
And
kindergarten?
yeah. So
George.
they had these guys they was picking on Akiba. She was, just got a little chubby girl, and she was in the little, the little concrete tunnel things, and she was in there crying, and they was, just talking at her, making fun of her. So me and my crew, me and Ezel and Trinity, we said, nah, let's go get them. You know what I'm saying? So Ezel and Trinity, they ran them off right quick. They were fighting. I went in the tunnel with her. And I was like, you all right? She's like, man, you're calling me fat. And I was like, you're not fat. I'm fat. You're beautiful. And like, we became like boyfriend and girlfriend after that, right? And that was up until like 5th grade. Like off and on until like 5th grade.
Wait a minute. From kindergarten to 5th grade.
Yeah. I mean, we broke up for a little while in 3rd grade, but you know, we kind of broke.
You moved way too faster than me. I ain't have no boyfriend back then. My first boyfriend was it 8th grade? Maybe 8th grade. But my first love, who I was in love with.
Oh.
Woo! I met him.
She said, woo!
I met him when I was playing basketball. He played for Mount Hermon.
Loving basketball.
Mm-hmm. And he had a twin brother. They were both identical twins. Their name was Dennis and Denny. And I started dating Dennis. And that was during the time when my mama started allowing me to have company. So on the weekend, she would let him come by the house and sit in the living room, and we would watch TV. And when my mama would go in her room, we try to sneak and do a little something. We couldn't do nothing much because we was in the living room and her bedroom door was open. So we couldn't do much. But oh my God, I was so in love with him. He was tall, dark skinned, just like at that age, I don't think you're supposed to be that sexy at that age.
You weren't supposed to be that sexy at that age. Look, even just now, you thinking about it. Woo!
He made me feel like a grown woman. I was like, and when he would call and let me know he was on his way, you know how you get the butterflies in your stomach. You be like, oh my God, he coming to my house. I can't believe he's my boyfriend.
Oh Lord.
Oh my God, I was in love with that dude. So we decided we was gonna lose our virginity to each other.
Oh Lord, y'all.
So I snuck him into my room one night and we tried it. I don't think it really happened.
She's like, I don't think it really happened. Wait, how you don't think it really happened?
Because we did something, but I don't think it went in all the way. I don't think it worked.
She's like, I don't think it really all.
We didn't know what that's what happened. Because it hurted. It was hurting. And I was like, wait, just stay right there where you at. Just stay right there. Do what you got to do right there in that little area, but don't go no further because that hurt.
Shoot, at that age, look, that's enough. Right here, okay.
Yeah. Do what you can do right there. Baby, Lord. But yeah, that was my first love, Dennis. And I went on Facebook maybe last year and I saw him. I saw the way he looks now. I was like, damn, I wish he looked like he used to look.
What you say? You wish he looked like he used to look?
You don't look like he used to look.
Shoot. I think what was my first love? I mean, I had the biggest crush on Mishi Wiggins all throughout middle school. That was the one that I used to like. My first little thing after me and Akiba broke up in 5th grade, right? I had went to this fair and I had got Mishi this stuffed animal that I had won, and I brought it to school. And I remember I had told my dad about it because he was the one who picked me up for the fair. And I was like, I will give this to Mishi. He said, you gonna give it to a girl? Like, yeah. You too young to be sprung, son. I was like, yeah, I know. But yeah, that was it. And then I had my high school. The first time I think I was in love was my high school sweetheart. That was Melissa, and that was about 2 years or so.
Mhm.
That ended in heartbreak as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
that ended in heartbreak.
yeah, because I decided to break it off because she was she didn't know. Basically, she didn't know if she wanted us to get married, but she didn't know if she was going to be able to deal with me if I gained any more weight than I had already had. I've always been a big guy. I was actually smaller then, but she was like, if you would gain more weight, I don't know how I would feel about it, and I may not be attracted to you, and I may not want to be married to you anymore.
What? Okay.
Wait a minute, you mean we've been grinding for 2 years, and this what you gonna tell me? Guess what? Off with your
Wow.
head. And I was already feeling myself anyway, because at school I was already like, you know, my partner used to say, you think you guys gift to women? No, I don't think I'm God's gift to women. Why would you think that I think that I'm God's gift to women? There you go. You in that voice, and you be trying to read it. And I was like, I ain't got no. What are you talking about? No.
Yes. All right. So I got one more photo to share with y'all. This was my high school senior picture. I had to snap a photo of that. My mama had that picture on her entertainment center, so I snapped the picture, but it's got a little flash in there. But
Oh yeah.
I had the high low haircut. I mean the
Oh
high
yeah.
low hairstyle where you put the ponytail up, then you let the little hair down on the side.
Right.
Ah,
Oh yeah.
baby, class of '93.
You said you couldn't tell me I wasn't.
Uh-uh. I was sticking with that hairstyle.
Shoot. They say come through
Yes.
here.
Baby, the hairstyles we had back then, we was sticking.
Shoot. Oh
Yes.
yeah.
So who was your male best friend in school?
I think I had I went through cycles of best friends. I had my friends from the hood, and I'll always be friends. My partner RJ. Shout out to Jay, my partner Larry. You know what I'm saying, and Mike. We 4 deep. But yeah, we had them. I had my albino brother Lane. You know what I'm saying, white boy. But we was like inseparable since first grade. You
Mhm.
know, yeah. My mom used to tell a story about how she got called to the office one time, and uh, that's when she first met Lane's mom, and it's like, well, they always talking to each other, and we separated them so they could, stop talking. But now they won't do their work, so we're
Yeah.
gonna have to put them back together. We don't know what to do, but me and Lane was like, peas in the pod for the longest. Like, when we got into high school together, we ended up going back to the same school again. And this was when we was at the Saved by the Bell school. And
Mhm.
that's when they had the Malcolm X t-shirts, and they started banning them down there in Louisiana. All the schools was banning. You can't wear your Malcolm X shirt, you know?
Wow.
So and it was like all these black students wearing their Malcolm X shirts, blah, 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 blah. So I wore my Malcolm X shirt to school one day, and he wore a Confederate flag shirt to school, right? With the
Yeah.
big X on it. And we went to the middle of the quad, and we just swapped shirts in the middle of the
Yeah.
quad. And we was like, okay, now send us home. You gonna send me home because I'm wearing a Confederate flag?
Yeah.
Are you gonna send him home because he wearing a Malcolm X?
Wow.
And they was like, oh, well. We go send y'all home. We just don't know
Yeah.
exactly how to justify it, but we gonna have to send y'all home. But that was my round. I still talk to them every once in a while. That's one of my best friends. Chris the Queer. one of my best friends in high school. So I mean, I had quite a few,
Yeah.
that was like good road dogs for me. My partner David, shout out to him, rest in peace. But yeah, man, it's had quite a few.
Yeah. I had Missy Bickham was my best friend in high school from junior high to high school, and we played basketball together. And then we used to, spend time with each other at each other's houses. I would visit her house, she would visit my house. Um, sometimes I would spend the night at her house. She had an older sister named Teresa, and during that time, Teresa was she knew she had a driver's license, so she would drive. So we would let Teresa drive us around so we could feel like we was grown. Be like, get your sister to take us to the store.
Shoot. Yeah,
So
look,
Missy
you
was
are.
my favorite, my best friend in school, in high school. I also had a male best friend. His name was Maurice.
Yeah.
And Maurice was, I mean, me and Maurice would see each other at school, talk all day at school, get home from school, get on the phone, talk all
Mm-hmm.
night long on the phone too. And
Right.
my mama used to be like, "You still on that phone with that boy? Y'all must like each other." I would get fighting mad. He's
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
friend. That's
Right.
it. I don't like him like that.
Right. And then you made me think about it. The most important one of all those friends that I mentioned earlier was my friend Sharon. Because me and Sharon still talk almost every day now. You
Mhm,
know what I'm saying? Most days we talk. But yeah, we started being like friends in what, 10th grade? I mean, we knew each
mhm.
other longer, but we started actually talking to each other all the time in 10th grade. And we've been kicking almost 30 years strong now. Just
Yeah.
you know, and it's funny because everybody be like, "Y'all ain't never thought of getting together." Like, no, I know all the nastiness she done. I ain't trying to be. She's like, "Yeah, I know all the nastiness he done. Ain't no way."
Yeah, and Maurice, he used to get picked on sometimes at school because of the way he looked. He was really skinny,
mm,
and he had acne, so he had acne scars in his face,
mm,
and people used to pick on him, but he was such a nice person, and we could just talk all day long, and then on the phone we just had great conversations. I really considered him a real true friend, but it was
mm.
never nothing. I never liked him like that, and he
Right,
never liked me like that.
right. I mean, so you can actually have platonic friends of the
Mhm,
opposite sex occasionally.
mhm,
Occasionally,
occasionally, but
yeah.
some of them out
No
there be
new
having them
friends. Yeah,
ulterior
yeah.
motive. Because
No
once
new
I got in
friends.
college, and I thought I had some male friends, they wasn't really my friends. They was acting like they were my
Right,
friend,
right.
trying to get something else.
Exactly.
So you went to college?
Yeah, I sure did.
So who was your college friend?
Um, I did a lot of like friend swapping back then, but um, I say Natalie and John was my two
Mhm.
best friends in college, and they passed away. Both of them passed away like 2 months apart from each other in
Wow.
my sophomore year. And like John, he died. We went to the club, and I was there with him when he passed. And then Natalie, she passed, like I say, like 2 months after that. She was on a trip and she got shot. So that was interesting. But those were my two, and that was part of the reason I didn't finish LSU because I had gotten to this sunken place after that. And I was just like, man, you know what? I ain't worried about none of this. I ain't worried about
Wow.
none of this. You know,
Yeah.
I'd rather be out here doing hood rat things with my friends. So that's exactly what I was doing.
Man, when I started college, I I didn't know anybody over here except my cousin Richard. We both graduated together, and we both came here to Hammond to Southeastern together, but he didn't know anybody. I didn't know anybody. So we hung out with each other for a little while because I didn't have any female friends. I remember when we did our orientation, we did our orientation, college orientation. I think we had to stay at the college for that weekend and do all of the activities, get to know people. And so I met this girl named Tiffany at orientation. She was from St. Rose, but she had that New Orleans accent. And you know, back then when people were from New Orleans and you was from the country, they kind of looked down on you and felt like they better than you.
Right.
And so the first day we started college and we had to check into our dorm rooms, I found out Tiffany was my roommate.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't like her and she didn't like me. And I cried like a baby that first night
Oh,
because I was like,
Lord.
I want to go back home. I don't like this girl. And as time went on, we became the best of friends.
Oh, wow.
I
So
tried to
it's
look her up. I tried to look her up a couple years ago, but I don't know how to find her. But me and Tiffany got real tight to the point where she started dating this guy named Tyrone, and he had his own house, so he wasn't living on campus. So she would spend the nights at his house. And her mom was like really strict on her, like always trying to keep tabs on her. So her mama would be calling the room, our dorm room, back to back to back to back to back, trying to find out where Tiffany at, why she not answering the phone.
shoot.
And I would answer the phone and try to lie for her, and her mom would be like, "I know you're lying for her. I'm finna come up there and pull her out of that
Oh,
school."
Lord.
I'm like, Lord have mercy. I'm trying to call Tiffany. Tiffany, please come back and
Hmm.
call your mama and calm her down because she on her way up here to pick
Hmm.
you up.
Hmm.
So it was something else. And during that time, we had caller ID in the room so I could see it was her calling so I wouldn't
Oh,
answer.
yeah.
But after she called so many times, I was like, I'm going to have to answer.
Right. Because, you know, I already know it could be an emergency or she going to
Right.
make sure y'all ain't answering. I'm coming.
And I think college was like the first time in my life when I actually started to believe in my physical appearance. I became comfortable with the fact that I'm attractive because I never
Right,
ever
right.
in high school I didn't feel like I was pretty. I had a friend named Latonya, and you know, during that time, and like I said, we grew up in one of those prejudiced places. So she was more light skinned with the long, pretty
Mm.
hair. And so in
She
school,
one of them.
she always got picked for, you know, homecoming queen and, you know, stuff like that. And so it kind of made us feel, you know, less attractive or, you know, not desirable. But when I came to college and started getting attention from guys, I was like, oh, I am popping then.
Oh, I am cute. Really?
Yeah, but it went to my head. I got wild out there.
Let's say I got wild out.
Yes. So
Uh,
yes, I mean I have so many great memories from childhood. You know, it wasn't all bad. Um, had a lot of fun, did a lot of stupid stuff, but it's still, you know, I wouldn't trade it for nothing. I wouldn't change anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, I know I did a lot of stupidness when I was young, but at the same time, you know, like you said, I had a lot of fun too. I mean, a lot of that stuff crafted who I am. You know,
Hmm.
you know, this the whole thing with, like I spoke about earlier with Jeremy. Oh, okay, well, that got me some confidence. I know that I could,
Hmm.
you know, me, Mister Steal Your Girl. You know, just the fact that I was you know, so, liked by people and just learned. And then the biggest thing is learning about different environments, going to, predominantly white schools, and then going to a all black school and learning the difference, and being able to communicate on multiple different levels, being in the music, and, meeting all these different people who do different things, and, being with the scholars and with the drug dealers, what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So, all of that stuff just kind of made me who I am today. So, I would relive every single moment of it.
Right. I just look back on periods of my life where I tried to change who I was in order to fit in with the crowd at the moment, to
Mm,
be accepted, to be liked. And, all of those experiences taught me that I teach people how to treat me by
right,
being my authentic self. You don't have to change who you are to fit into a certain area. That means that's not your spot. If
right.
you have to change who you are to be accepted. And so, and I just learned that people are not one, they're not just one thing. You can meet somebody who has a lot of different sides to their personality.
Hmm.
All of those add up to make who that person is. You don't put people in a box, and don't allow people to put you in a box.
Right,
I can listen to UGK, and I can also listen to Simply Red
right.
or Madonna. When I was growing up, I loved Madonna. I
Hmm.
loved I used to love country music. I loved all
Hmm.
types of music. But in
Right.
certain situations you feel like you have to hide certain things about yourself in order to
Yeah.
be accepted by a certain group of people, or they're going to say you're trying to be white, or you're trying to be this, or you're trying to be that. I'm not trying to be anything. I'm just
Hmm.
being who I am. I like
Right.
different things. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean you know it's wrong.
Hmm. Right, exactly. That's the big thing, is that, being your authentic self is all that really matters. I used to jam out to, like, to this day, Nirvana and Smashing Pumpkins and all these different, what I'm saying, groups. But I used to rap, and it used to be the Dirty South is Dirty Mouth, as they used to call me.
Mhm,
But, I'd be into all of that. Hell, I would be listening to classical music,
mhm,
and Beethoven and Bach and all these different people, and love it. So,
mhm.
yeah, my favorite song of all time is "Baby Come Back" by Player. So,
Yes.
I mean, but I think people do tend to categorize you based on, things like that, and they shouldn't, because, at the end of the day, you can enjoy multiple things. You ain't just got to enjoy the same stuff that everybody in this crowd enjoy. You
Mhm,
can, be multifaceted. You can enjoy more than one thing. So, yeah.
mhm. Yep. I I can be a gangster thug and fighting out in the streets, and then I can go and get a doctorate degree.
Hmm. Oh,
You
yeah.
know, people just have different sides to their personality.
Hmm.
I remember when I was working at the bank, and I had got off work, and I had on my work clothes, and I went to this music store, and I bought the UGK cassette. And when I was checking out and getting ready to pay for it, the guy was like, "What you know about this? You don't know nothing about this." I
Shoot.
said, "Don't let the soup fool you.
Right.
You don't know
Right.
nothing about me, sir."
For real.
So is that's what I love about our journey growing up, and just being able to come into yourself and be happy with who you are, and
Hmm.
be at peace with yourself, and be comfortable in your own skin, and just realizing you can be all of yourself and be loved and accepted for exactly who you are.
Right.
And it took
Right.
me a long time to figure that out, because I got into a whole lot of different things, situations, and trouble that I had no business getting into, trying to fit in with a crowd that wasn't my
Mm-hmm.
crowd. I was hanging with a group of girls who was doing all kinds of stuff that I was like, this don't really feel right. I ain't really
Right.
with it. But they the only people I know right now. They the only people that's I can really call friends. So I'ma just roll with it, do what they do.
Right. Right.
But it got me into a lot
Mm-mm.
of trouble.
Yeah. And then the one thing I can say is that you know I didn't have that much of an issue with that only because being my authentic self, I had enough trouble around me in these different groups
Hmm.
of folks. So,
Hmm.
like I say, the drug dealers think I was cool. I used to be, I told somebody before, I used to be in the trap house rolling weed and reading through the history book. Hey, you see? So, looking at Science and Discovery magazine. So, it looks like the O-ring study that they did on the Challenger is coming out. Bro, what did you? But then some of them sit there and be, hey, for real, man.
Hmm.
So what is they social economical philosophy?
So when my
So
when my ex-husband got arrested and they took him away to jail for his drug charges, the detective who had been watching him or whatever, he was like, "What are you doing with this guy?" He said, "You're a hardworking woman. You go to work every day. You take care of your kids. Why are you wrapped up with a guy like this?" Sir, I mean, because I like thugs, I guess. I mean,
she said, because I like thugs.
I mean, I guess I thought I could change him into being a good guy, or I don't know.
Mhm.
But
I mean,
it
it could be
wasn't my
that.
I wasn't my preferred lifestyle, but
Right,
I,
right,
I
right.
wasn't afraid of it either.
Right, exactly. Because at the end of the day, it's just something that you know about, and
Hmm.
it's not like it's foreign to you. It's something that you are familiar with. It'd be
Hmm.
different if it was something that you hadn't experienced before, but you experienced it. So yeah,
Right.
it wasn't no
Yes.
thing.
Well, thank everybody for rocking with us on this. We went way over than what we were supposed to, but it was
Oh
good. It was
yeah,
good conversation. I hope y'all learned a lot about us. I hope this shed some light on our background, who we are, why we do what we do, all that good stuff. It's always good to get to know the people that you're connected with on a deeper level,
oh yeah,
get to know more about them, and then you get to understand them more, and that builds a deeper connection with the
right,
people that you communicate with on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes we have friendships with people for years and years, and we just know the surface stuff about them
right, right, right.
and
And we don't even know the deep ends of what they do and what made them them.
made them who they are. Thank you, Miss T. Thank you,
Thank
Tashura.
y'all.
Thank y'all for rocking with us. We're about to get out of here. I'm sitting in this parking lot. My windows are fogging up.
Yeah, you better get out of that part.
Parking
Folks gonna
lot
be coming over there.
pending.
What's up? What's up?
All right. Until next Sunday, we'll be back. Hopefully, my internet will be back on point next
hmm
Sunday, and I'll be back in the studio as usual. You got anything you want to leave the people before we get out of here, Gator?
Hey, nothing but be yourself. Embrace all the things that you've gone through in your past and allow it to do what it was meant to do, which is to mold you into the better person that you're gonna become. So yeah, it's all right to embrace your past.
Yes. Good night, y'all. We love y'all. Talk to y'all again soon.
Night. Peace out.